Question 4. So we have this equation that we're supposed to solve, and it has fractions in it. And from the first question in the homework asking us how do we eliminate fractions in an equation, we know that it has something to do with looking at the denominators. And the denominators in all the fractions of this equation are 3. So when I try to eliminate the fractions, it's going to be the same basic idea of multiplying the entire left side and the entire right side by the same number. And that number is the least common denominator, or the LCD. Well, since all of the denominators are 3, I'm going to go ahead and multiply both sides by 3. When I multiply 3 on the left side, it becomes a distribution problem. So I'm going to think about 3 times 2/3 of x. And I could do 3 times 2/3 in a calculator and then just remember that that x is still there. 3 times 2/3 is 2x plus 3 times 1/3. 3 times 1/3 is 1. And negative 7/3 times 3, if I were to try to do that by hand, I would think that I would put the whole number over 1, and I would either multiply straight across and then simplify, or maybe I would do that cross-canceling trick that I remember. So I'm going to get a negative 7 over 1, or simply negative 7 as my final answer. All right, clearing out the fractions of an equation is an option. You could solve this equation without doing that. It might just take a little bit more time with the calculator to minus 1/3 on both sides and then multiply both sides by the reciprocal. What I'm going to do is now build my walls, and I am going to undo the order of operations here. So I'm going to undo my plus 1 by subtracting 1 on both sides. 1 minus 1 is 0, and 2x plus 0 is simply 2x. And then I have negative 7 minus 1. Now, however you want to think about that, or just type it into the calculator, is fine. But for me, subtraction signs can sometimes leave me a little foggy. So I change subtraction to add the opposite. And then I think negative 7 plus negative 1 is negative 8. Negative 7 minus 1 is also negative 8. However you best think about that is fine. Okay, to end the equation, I have to get rid of this times 2. So 2 times x is negative 8, and I'll divide by 2 on both sides. Any number divided by itself is 1, and 1x is equal to negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. So it looks like my final answer, if I were to substitute it back in, what I would type in for my fourth answer. Moving on, we have a problem that says the perimeter of a geometric figure is the sum of the lengths of its sides. The perimeter of the pentagon, 5-sided figure, on the right is 45. So what I'm going to think about when I want to write an equation is I'm going to have to add up all of these lengths and say x plus x plus x plus 3x plus 3x is equal to something. It's going to be equal to 45. So my first thought is just writing that equation. Okay, I've got this one, this one, this one. Now I need a 3x, and I need a 3x. And that perimeter should be 45, so I'm going to write equals 45. And my next step is to solve the equation. So if I'm going to solve that equation, what do we have here? We have choice D as our first option. Okay, to solve the equation, I'm going to combine like terms. So x plus x plus x is 3x, 3x and another 3x is 6x, and 6x and another 3x is 9x. So it looks like if I combine all of my like terms, I get 9x equals 45. 9 times a number is 45. And to figure out what that is, I'm going to undo that times 9. I'm going to divide the left side by 9, divide the right side by 9. 9 divided by 9 is 1, and 1x equals 5. So I solved the equation in part A and got x equals 5. And for my last step, I'm going to go ahead and find the lengths of each side. So 3x would be 3 times 5. That's 15 centimeters. X is 5, and 3x is 15 again.